Okay. Have a seat.
Okay.
Yep.
And yeah, I talked to Madhu. You have other people coming in, right?
Yeah. There are some people online too, and
or some people online. Okay. In shortcut, can you give me a little idea about this program, training and placement?
I can talk about training.
I can go now.
No, that's not a problem. I can talk about training.
Okay.
Placement is completely different division, even though I assist in mock interviews and preparation when we set up. So basically, this is a 5 weekends class. Today is not included in that 5 weekends.
Okay.
So going forward, we'll have 5 weekends class.
Okay.
First 3 weekends we'll concentrate on business analysis.
Okay.
And last 2 will be under QA methodology. So business analyst, what is their role? What do they do? What are you supposed to deliver as business analyst? When you go on project, what are your roles and responsibilities? How you should fulfill them. In a nutshell, I will give you the real life project scenarios and deliver. Theoretical knowledge, and you will do it in the classroom as well, so you know how to create on your own too. That's a high level picture, but we'll be discussing.
And what about the interviews and prepare for interviews?
Yeah, so once the training is over, then your resume is marketed, and then when the final interview is set up by the client, you will have calls with me and we'll go over and have mock calls and prepare mock calls.
So this is going to be every Saturday?
Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday. Okay. This will go into 5 weeks, right?
Okay. We'll break it in a couple of more.
Just as you know, I'm a conscious parent and concerned parent. I just wanted to ask. He's a college student.
Okay.
But, goes to NJIT.
Okay.
But he is planning to take a break from college.
Okay.
And go into full-time business analysis.
Okay.
Take up a job. And then in his part-time, he will finish his college. Is it a good option for him?
Why do you want to leave your education in between?
Oh, he wants a break.
Okay.
That's the reason. He wants to work. Not break from complete break from education, but for a time being, maybe 1 year, 2, so that he will earn his money. He will pay for college.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it would require 100% dedication if you want to grab up any profession, right?
Right.
For a professional role, and especially if you're going for a consulting hourly rate, no one is going to pay you if you are not 100% into it, and you clearly your motive is that, okay, 1 year I want to earn my college fees and then go back. It takes 3 to 4 months to understand a company policy, how they work. So they are bringing you on board, and then after 6 months you work, and then you say goodbye.
No, he wants to goodbye.
No. Those are the things I'm talking about.
No, you're right. No, he will be dedicated. He will be full-time employed, but he will complete his education part-time.
We can talk about it in detail because we are a little late starting the class.
Okay.
We were
you
started
go ahead. No problem.
But definitely, if he has any questions, we can address them.
Okay.
Okay.
What time you going to be over?
Today is just an intro session. I'm going to provide introduction about the class, what we are going to cover, what the trainees need to gain knowledge if they do not have already, what they need to develop in their personality and otherwise too. So it's going to be an hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
Yeah, if people don't need many breaks,
Yeah, don't need break. Yeah.
So we'll be able to finish it latest by 12. Latest. Okay.
Call me. I'll go to Costco. I'll go to other places. I'm going to stay hang around. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Madhu is not here today?
No, she doesn't work on the weekends.
Oh,
She'll be here Monday to Friday.
oh.
Okay.
Please guide him through
I will. Whatever he has got.
Entry level. He may not be knowing a lot of things. You have to guide him.
Sure, I will do that. So we have one person online. Is it Samiksha? Can you hear me? So
yes, I'm here.
Okay. So, good name again? Mohammed. So we have Mohammed in the classroom. We are waiting for a couple of more people. So we will give them a couple of minutes first day, and sometimes, people trying to locate the place and not getting in time. Usually we start in time unless there's some weather problem or traffic problem and, people are stuck up somewhere. So we try to start in time, but today being first day, we'll give them some more minutes and then we'll get started. Okay? Okay, cool. Alrighty. So Muhammad, my friend, you are in the classroom and Samiksha is online. So before we get started, I will give some introduction about myself. Then we'll talk about you guys as well. And then I'll go over what is the high-level scope of this training and what this training is not about, more importantly, so that you can make up your mind. And also, if you have any questions about anything, about the training, about any other thing that is bothering you, or I can help you in making a decision. Okay. So only if I can find my mouse in this wonderful bag. Yes, I found it. Okay. So my name is Lalit Ahuja. My name is not Jagan. Jagan is the ID I'm using to log in. And I take training here over the weekend. We have trained various batches, and I work over the weekdays as a consultant, lead business analyst, and Scrum Master. So that is what I do over the weekdays, and I train on the same subject over the weekend. Okay, and that's me. People who are online, they can see. CBAP is a Certified Business Analysis Professional Certification. It's a certification given by IIBA, which is International Institute of Business Analysis. And we'll talk about all these certifications in detail. We have one session towards the end of BA class. PMI-ACP is Project Management Institute Agile Certified Practitioner. CSM is Certified Scrum Master, and CSPO is Certified Scrum Product Owner. At this point, you don't need to worry about what those roles or designations are. As we go along the training, you will learn about all these things and what these roles are and what these designations are. So at this time, for you, these are just few letters next to my name, maybe. But sometimes, people who are from the industry, they know about these certifications. Okay. So I have over 15 years of experience, professional experience in the same IT field. And as I said, we have trained many batches here in BA QA successfully. That was a little brief history about me. As long as we go, you will get to know more about this profession, BA and QA. We are giving a combo course spread across 5 weekends. First 3 weekends, and today's day is not included in those weeks. First 3 weeks, weekends effectively, are concentrated towards business analysis, and last 2 weekends are concentrated on quality assurance, QA. So what does BA do? What is your role? Why you should become a business analyst? Starting from that level, we go into what are the various methodologies of doing an IT project, how an IT project kicks off, how a IT project starts, where is the starting point, who are the team members that you will meet on your project. So right, starting from that scratch level, we go into deep dive details, and week 2, week 3, we understand all the methodologies, what are your roles and responsibilities, what are you supposed to deliver, actual deliverables, and I show you the real-life deliverables that have been created in the real-life projects, supported with the theoretical knowledge that I can provide you. So that makes sense. You can touch and feel, okay, how it is created, and then what is the official or the definition of that particular concept is all about, so that it makes sense. You can connect the dots. And then we create them in the classroom as well. So you create them, not necessarily in the classroom, but you can have that assignment you create on your own to ensure that you've got the knowledge. Because when you do yourself, it makes all the difference. When someone is telling you it's all hunky-dory, everything is good, but then you actually come to create or write something, then it makes sense. Oh, okay, so I'm stuck up here. So then you come to the classroom or send me an email, and we have the discussion, how you should go about it. So that way you get 3 levels of exposure on the same deliverable or same topic. Theoretical, real-life example, and then you do it yourself. Okay. As I said, we'll do a classroom mini project in the classroom. Usually there are 4 or 5 people. I don't know, today's the first day, so people are, no one showed up, or maybe they're late. Or just weather is so good today after so long, so they want to enjoy the weekend. So 4 or 5 people are there usually, either physically inside the classroom or online, so combination of both. So we do role play. Someone plays the role of BA, someone plays the role of QA, developer, project manager, scrum master, whatnot. So you get a real life exposure of how actually requirements, which we'll talk about in detail, are elicited and how you solicit the requirements from your business. Okay. Whatever is needed for you guys to know about BA and QA, we will be doing it in these 5 weeks weekend. Okay. But not to say that is be all end all of the BA QA, because you have to remember, if you are going into a new profession, within 5 weeks you can learn so much, right? But after that, beyond the training, once you get introduced to the basic concepts, okay, what is expected out of me at a very basic level. Then from there onwards, you take it forward and you do online research, you read books, or you go deep. It's up to you from there onwards how far or how deep you want to go in that subject, right? So this training is designed and packaged in such a way that you know what is your deliverable, what is your role, what are you supposed to do, and you will get all the support from me as and when you go on the project. Okay. So that was a high-level timelines and whatnot about this training program. As I said, every week we will meet, let's say 9 to 2. So it's a 5 hours. Whenever we meet Saturday and Sunday, we're meeting 5 hours, 9 to 2. And we'll have plenty of breaks whenever you need, at least 2 breaks, 5 to 10 minutes, just to make sure that it's not just download, and so I'll make sure. And whenever you guys need a break, you let me know, and we'll have a quick break or breather, whatever is required. And sometimes it's, I'm yet to know about you guys, but sometimes the combination of the batch is such that few people are expert, or not just expert, but they have some prior IT exposure. They have worked in projects. Someone has development experience, someone has some QA experience, someone has some kind of a IT project experience. Someone's husband is working in IT, so they know something. And then there are a few people who are completely new, that they have no professional experience. Forget about IT projects, how IT projects work. So this training is starting from the scratch and from the basics, so that everybody is brought on the same page. And then from there on, in the latter part of the training, we take a deep dive and discuss in detail so that everybody comes on the same page. Having said that, it's quite possible, because I've been working in this profession since whatever. I also take training since a long time. But still, if you don't understand anything, someone like you who is coming out of school or college, if just inadvertently I said something, I use acronym, or I use some technical jargon or business jargon or some kind of a high-level term which you don't understand, never ever shy to stop me and ask me. I think I should write on all these 4 walls that no question is a stupid question. You're free to stop and ask me. If you feel that it's going to hamper the pace of what we are discussing, then make a note of it. Feel free to make a note of it. Ask me later. When you go home and then you you get to know, okay, I didn't realize that what that topic was. Go over the material, and you will, by the way, get all the materials that we discuss in the classroom by the end of the class. I mean, that Saturday, Sunday that we meet, the following Monday, you will get all the materials via emails, and you will get all the links. Okay. So when you're going over, you don't understand anything, then and there you write an email to me, and I will get back to you, usually within 24 hours. Is the SLA that I get back. Okay, because I work in the daytime. So that was some brief overview, high-level overview about myself and the training. And as I said, I will answer all your questions. But before we start going into more details, I would like to hear about you guys also. Okay, so we'll start with you, Mohammed. So anything about you, your background, what you're doing, any work experience, any kind of professional exposure, and any book or movie that you read or watched recently, and if you liked it or disliked it, if you liked it, why you liked it, and if you disliked it, why you disliked it.
Okay, well, basically, I was a college student, and
You still are a college student.
yeah, I still am a college student.
Okay.
But, I decided to take a little time off. I was getting a little tired of being in college, so decided this might be a way to go about it. And I've had a little bit of professional experience. Like I've worked for a campaigning company, John Corzine. Yeah, so I worked for him for about when he was running for election. And other than that, no real campaign, no real professional experience. But
So what did you do with
we would
that experience?
we would basically go out and knock on doors and stuff and call people.
Campaigning for
Yeah,
them?
basically that's what we did.
Okay.
And it was fun.
So how long did you do that?
Probably like 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, and then
Did you get paid?
yeah, obviously.
You got that.
Of course. And what movie? I watched the new Fast and Furious that just came out.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was kind of sad because
Yeah, because of the tragedy
Yeah,
associated
so-
with it.
it was not really.
Yeah. So did you like it or you didn't like it?
Yeah, I think there's other movies that are better. Obviously, like I don't think this wasn't even the best Fast and Furious movie, but it was good. It was good to watch.
So what did you like about it?
Just the cars, they're just racing and fighting and all that.
So you're a racer, gamer. You're a
Yeah.
fast and furious yourself.
No.
Do you drive fast?
No, I don't drive.
You don't drive fast.
No, I
Okay.
don't race.
That's cool. So what are you doing in the college? Like what are you studying at NJIT?
Mechanical engineering.
Mechanical.
Basically, like all engineering classes.
Okay.
Materials.
So mechanical engineer has, I guess, nothing to do with IT, right? No. Business analyst, we'll talk about it.
Okay.
But IT as a whole.
Yeah.
I'm not even going into that specific level. BAQA is a specific role, and that's why you're here, to get trained.
Yeah.
So that's fine. But IT, because you're going in that domain, you're going into that profession, IT profession. So no coding, no programming.
I did C++
as part of this course that you did?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you have some kind of idea. Okay, that's actually good. Not that it's, yeah, sure. So, if any IT background, any IT experience, any experience to coding, development, software, QA, project management, or project coordinator, or whatever experience that you have, or knowledge that you have, or the education, that's always going to be incentive. However, it's not mandatory for BAQA. So good that you have some programming language exposure. That's definitely going to be incentive. Having said that, if you did not have, if you have told me that I don't have any experience or exposure in IT, that is not going to be a deal breaker. Because for BAQA, it's an added incentive, added advantage, because you're going to work with IT teams, so it's an incentive, but not a mandatory requirement. Okay. So good. Okay, so then we go to Samiksha.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yeah, there's a little bit echo, but you're audible. You are.
Okay. So I'm Samiksha. I'm currently in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I have almost 6 years of experience in BA and project management, but in pharma industry, not in IT.
In India?
And that too in India.
Okay.
So, and I've gone through the material which Madhu has sent, and a few things seems alike, but most of the, the acronyms or the, maybe the process they use seems a little bit different.
Right. So in India, when you worked, what company did you work as BA and project manager?
Yes, in pharma companies.
Okay.
Pharmaceutical industry.
Pharma. Okay, yeah, that's good, because there are so many pharma companies here. You have at least some kind of exposure. So for how long did you work?
I was working for almost 6 years.
6 years. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Where in India you worked, Samiksha?
I was in Pune for approximately 4 years, and then another 2 years in Hyderabad.
Okay, good. And your education is in what stream?
I'm graduate in science, but then I did my MBA in international business.
Okay, good.
So I was intended to do PMP, but later somehow it didn't work out.
Okay. Okay, cool. And you said you have total 6 years of work experience, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, cool. And you said you're in North Carolina?
Yes, I'm in Charlotte.
Charlotte, okay. How's the weather there? Are you any better from here?
Yeah, it's quite sunny here. Yeah.
Okay, good. Until like last week, we were wearing jackets here. It was so cold. Only today it got better, some better.
Here also, I think this week is better. And then last week, even it was chilly.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Any movie or book that you watched or read, you liked or disliked? Something about you?
Even I watched Fast and Furious 7 yesterday.
Oh, you did yesterday?
I kind of liked it. Yeah. So I kind of liked it. Yeah, a lighter movie after a long time and all those graphics, especially the cars. I like it.
Okay, cool. So both of you have same choice and same taste. Okay, good. All right. So as I was saying that any questions or anything, you can stop me. You can make a note of it and ask me later. Send an email to me anytime, and I'll be happy to answer that. If at all I'm going too fast, let me know. If you need a break, let me know. I'm flexible that way. Okay. So people on online, if you don't have any question or you don't, I want to make it as interactive as possible. I don't want to just keep on talking and downloading on you. So we'll make it interactive. But since there are many people online and it becomes, we get a lot of background sound as we're getting right now. So everybody on phone, if they can mute their phone when they're not speaking, that would be great. And whenever you have any question or comment or suggestion or any recipe to share, feel free to unmute yourself and, I'll be happy to address that. Okay?
How about this chat? And can we type it? Yeah. I mean, will you be responding on the chat?
Or audio or there's some background sound going on at your end and you want to remain on mute, that's fine too. But just remember that it might take me some time to notice chat. Sometimes I don't always look at the screen. So best way is to just unmute yourself, stop me, make it interactive, just feel that you're in the classroom, and that would be great.
Sure.
Okay, cool. So we will get started, and I would like to keep it a little light today, being first day, and not too much of download, so that you don't just get boom overwhelmed with so much stuff, and then you say, "This is not for me." Okay. So role of a business analyst, because first 3 weeks we are going to concentrate on BA. So let's talk about the role of a BA, what he or she is supposed to do, what you as a BA are supposed to do, what is expected out of you, and ultimately what's your goal going to be as a business analyst. What does it mean that a business analyst? A business analyst, basically the word meaning means person who is going to analyze the way the business is conducted. Basically, if you ask me. So if I have a business, I'm running a business, let's say Pizza Corner or whatever, and you are given a task to analyze and map and document all the processes, what it all takes from the scratch until the pizza is delivered and payment is received and it goes in my bank account and we have to run the whatever end-to-end process. You are the person supposed to analyze it, document it, and provide provide solutions how it can be done in a better way to improve the process. Here in specific we are talking about solutions in terms of IT solutions. So we are not, as a BA in this class, we are not going to learn what is the way to save money to that Novo Nordisk pharma company or Bristol Myers Squibb pharma company or whatever, CNN or some educational organization. You're not a hardcore business analyst. This is IT business analyst course. Also, you can say BSA, business systems analyst. So it's a combination of analyzing, studying the business, how the business is being performed, and then how the software solutions can help in specific to run that business smoothly and successfully. Okay. So having said that, that means that there's a business community, which is running their business. So all the business people. And then there's an IT team who is supporting them, providing them services in forms of software solutions or otherwise. The solution can be software in the form of an application or a business solution as well. So your role as a business analyst is going to be playing a role of a liaison, a bridge, okay, between IT and business. So what are business needs or areas of scope where we can improvise, and then talk to IT team, provide the requirements, what does business need, and then come up with a solution. So you're not writing code, you're not there to provide a technology platform solution that, okay, let's do cloud, let's do .NET or Silverlight or Java, whatever programming language. You're not there as IT expert. There are people already in your team to take care of that technology part. Your job is to bridge that gap between what a business needs and how IT can be used to optimum utilization and how we can provide the best solution possible. Okay. So that's what the first bullet point is. Understand the business, their processes, rules, and the requirements. What are the business requirements? And represent IT to business users at all levels. So when you go and you talk, okay, what are we doing here? So what are your process flows? Map them, analyze them, document them, and then understand what are their needs, why we are doing this project that we are doing. So what part comes from business, what needs to be done, and the how part, how we're going to provide the solution, comes from IT team. And your role is to play that of a liaison in between these two parties. Okay. And ultimately become the subject matter expert for the rest of the IT team. What that means is that, so as I said, IT team, there is a solution architect, there are developers, tech leads. They have what they need from IT perspective. What they need is, what the value addition that you can provide is, if you become subject matter expert in the business side, right? So if they can bank on someone who can provide why we are doing what we are doing. If a business process flow does a certain step or a certain functionality is required, there are people who can code. There's no problem. But why we are doing it, what is the business value, what is the logic, and the rules around it. If someone can provide this IT team that information, that perspective of business side, they will be very happy. And that makes this IT team a complete team, because now we have someone like you or Samiksha who knows the business side as well. Okay, so that's what your ultimate goal is. And that can be one of the questions as well. Why should I hire you as a business analyst here? And or maybe what's your goal when you say you want to become a business analyst or you're a BA? What do you mean by that? So my goal is ultimately to become the subject matter expert of all the processes, policies, rules, and requirements, and how basically this business works. So if your company, let's say it's an insurance company, bank, financial institution, healthcare, pharma, media, education, e-commerce, or whatnot, if you're going in a particular domain, you want to become a subject matter expert. If you say that, they're going to love you, because, as I said, in IT team, they have the technical know-how. There's no dearth of technical knowledge. There are people. They don't need someone who says I can code this and I'm expert in cloud computing. I'm an expert in this. They are there. There are people already. What they need is someone who can provide them business domain know-how. Okay. So if you say that I want to become a subject matter expert, and within a couple of months, or first 90 days rule. That first 90 days, what do you want to achieve? I want to become subject matter expert on how many lines of business we have in this business. What are the core services or products that this company delivers? What are the business rules, end-to-end logistics, and all the stuff. So you want to become the subject matter expert of that business, and that's what your goal should be, okay, as a business analyst. Why you want to become a BA? As I said, not necessarily you are part of IT team, but you don't need necessarily experience or educational background in development, QA, project management, project coordination, or any such thing. If you have, that's more than welcomed. That's always an incentive. You get an edge over others. But if not, that's fine too, and that's why you're here to learn the methodologies. BA job can usually not be outsourced of the organization, but even if it does, those BAs have to come onshore, on site to work with the business, because QA probably can be outsourced. Development, software development makes sense in today's competitive world to get it outsourced, either offshore or within the United States of America, but to a different company who takes care of your development or other stuff. But BA, because BA has to work closely with the business. So wherever the business is, that business analyst has to be ideally should be located there. So since the other pieces of software development are getting offshore, outsourced, BA role becomes more important, because you have to play a role of a bridge. And bridge, the other end should be connected to business, and the first end, wherever, to your IT team, wherever it is located, in India, in China, wherever. So in a given scenario, business analyst role becomes more important, because you have to work more closely with the business as well as IT. Okay. In any project, role of a BA tends to have longest tenure. Why? Because BAs ideally are involved in the project from pre-inception phase, even when the project is not in inception stages. These are involved because they have to do the groundwork, they're involved in the scoping, what is in scope, what is out of scope, and we'll discuss everything in detail, but these are required right from, ideally from day one, and then until the implementation of that software solution. Even after that, for post-production support also, these are required, because by the time the application has been developed and delivered to the business users for day-to-day usage, any application needs time for stabilization. So once we go live with this application, the software that we are building, there can be many defects, issues, production issues that might come once we are go live. So in that scenario, BAs would be required. The developer might be like, as and when SOS basis, because if there's any defect in the application, developer will be required to fix it, right? But post-production support means some kind of training also, or some defects that are coming up. So business analysts have to coordinate, analyze why this defect come up now in production, why it was not found in the QA testing phase when we were doing the testing, and all those stuff. So right from the inception until the even implementation and post-production, BAs are there on that project. Okay. What makes you a good BA? So you should have or develop good communication. That's the key. That's for sure. That goes for any profession actually. In today's world, if you are going for a professional job and you're commanding a certain kind of hourly rate, they expect you to at least communicate and talk, and it becomes more important BA role because documentation is one of the key deliverable and key role that you play as a BA. So documentation skills are required, or you have to develop going forward if you want to excel in this profession. And interpersonal skills, of course, because you will be center of attraction. I don't want to say center of the universe, but at least the teams that you're handling. So business community, IT, you're the coordinator. You are playing the role of you're the gatekeeper. Any information going out and coming in goes through the BA. So interpersonal skills are very important. Again, that goes for any kind of professional role in today's world. Someone who is completely, let's say, antisocial or even doesn't talk to any next cube mate, it's a little difficult or hard for him or her. But it's more important in BA and QA role because if you're a developer, right, you don't need to deal with business people on day-to-day basis. So you're sitting in your nice little cube, in your own shell, in your own world. As long as you are delivering the code, you're technically strong and you're delivering the right functionality, right software solution, no one would, bother. It's okay. But being a BA QA, you have to stand up there, drive the conversation, drive the meeting, work on the agenda that you set up, and you want to make sure that you take out all the information that you needed in this 1 hour of meeting. So facilitation skills, leadership skills, all those interpersonal skills are required. They become more important in this role. Okay. So if you say that I don't like to talk to people or interact with people, then that's a certain disastrous recipe that you're creating for yourself for this profession. Okay. Of course, since your title itself says analyst, so analytical thinking is required. Problem solving, meaning you just don't, like a kid, run to a project manager or the solution architect or the business sponsor for small little things. Try to come up with a solution rather than always coming with the problem. Oh, so and so person is not giving me the information. I am stuck up here. So that kind of attitude. These are the personal skills that you have to develop, and it's better if you already have them. But in any kind of a professional world, people, managers like those subordinates who come up with some kind of attitude, which they are the troubleshooters rather than just being a blockage themselves. Negotiation, of course, because you have to negotiate with regards to scope, in scope, out of scope items, and we will discuss them in detail. When I say in scope, out of scope, and scope creep, all those things, what it means in terms of IT projects. So definitely negotiation skills. You're running a JAD session, you're running a workshop for the requirement elicitation. You need to stick to the agenda, making sure that no one is kind of hijacking your meeting or taking it somewhere else, which is not in scope. So all those facilitation skills, decision making, kind of leadership skills are required. Ability to ask the questions, relevant questions, pertinent questions to what we are discussing or the domain which is undergoing analysis. As I said in the beginning of the class, no question is stupid question. If you don't understand, not just in this class, going forward also, when you go as a business analyst, if you don't understand anything, ask, and there's no other way that you can find out. ask it, there can be a different way of asking. You can say that, oh, I understand this, but just you want to hear from horse's mouth. Because those guys are doing it day in and day out. So ask and get the confirmation, get your understanding validated, get your understanding verified to make sure that you're on the same page. Okay? So even if a particular process or a particular business rule is going on since years and years and years, you should ask and have a fresh perspective. Sometimes it has happened. It does happen that a particular subject matter expert or employees, they are doing certain steps in the workflow, in their day-to-day work, that they're there since 25 years, 30 years in the same company, and they're used to it, and they're doing it every day without even realizing that in the given business circumstances, because business is dynamic, it changes every day. In given circumstances, does a particular step or a process even make sense? Why we are doing it? But so until unless someone with unbiased perspective or someone with a fresh set of eyes questions that, it doesn't become obvious to people who are repeatedly doing certain steps. So do not shy away or be scared of questioning the processes, questioning the validity of certain steps. Do they still stand valid? Okay. And you can always follow it up with I understand you're doing it. I mean, I'm not here to say that, question your judgment, but I just want to understand for my better understanding why this particular process or step is important. What if you don't do it? What will happen? Okay. So that way, asking the way you pose your question is important. Okay. Active listening, observation skills. So when you are interviewing or you're asking questions or eliciting the requirements, and you're probably sitting with the subject matter expert and you're observing them, make sure that you pick up the right notes, you pick up the right requirements by observing them as well. So we will learn what is a subject matter expert shadowing, how you can do a shadowing to SME. When they are in their real life job, you can just simply shadow them, observe them doing their job, and then you can become subject matter expert yourself. So that is one of the requirements elicitation technique that we'll be talking about. Capture information after making sure that you have the correct information validated. Ask or paraphrase, rephrase your understanding in 10 different ways if required, if that be so, and make sure that you understand, and you and the subject matter expert, or you and the solution architect for that matter, or any IT person for that matter, or the project manager, you're on the same page. So validate by rephrasing, paraphrasing your understanding. Any questions so far? Am I running too fast, or Samiksha, how are you doing?
No, I think good, because anyway it's basic, so it's better to run through first. Okay.
So when you go on a project, people who have no idea about how projects are run, you will meet project manager, of course, business analyst, system or solution architect, developers, enterprise architect, QA analyst, DBAs, and others. So it is not a comprehensive list, but these are the bare minimum team members that you will definitely meet in your IT team. Okay, and we will talk about these roles in detail. What is the role of a project manager? Of course, what is the role of a business analyst? Because that's what you're learning here. Of course, the role of a QA analyst, because that's what you're learning here, but also other roles as well. So you have a clear understanding who does what. And as I said, there would be other roles as well. This is not a comprehensive list,
but at a bare minimum level, you will meet these people. They will be in your project team. Project manager, of course, is the captain of the ship. He or she is responsible for delivering this project within the timeline, within the budget, and within the given approved resources. So basically, their responsibility or their task is to make sure that the project is delivered within the timeline, within the budget, and within the given resources. Of course, their responsibility is much beyond than that, but basically they chase these three things: timeline, budget, and resource management. Of course, there are other things too, and we will discuss in detail. There's one session dedicated to what a project manager's role is, as per PMI, Project Management Institute. Okay. So business analyst, of course, will talk in detail for the rest of the 3 weeks. QA analyst also will talk in detail for the rest of the last 2 weeks. And developers, DBAs, enterprise architects, solution architects, these are the roles that we will discuss as and when it comes into the picture. Okay. And again, this is not in any hierarchical order. Like, there's no hierarchy that project manager is on top and then business analyst. This doesn't mean this is a hierarchy. This is on a project, and no one is reporting. Actually, to be very honest, if you ask me, there's a myth or kind of a fallacy that everybody on the project team reports to project manager. It's not so. BA will report to their resource manager. QA will report to their resource managers. At this project level, yes, the project manager is responsible for delivering the project in time and in budget, and that's why, when I said resource management, that's why if you need 3 weeks vacation, okay, so before even you go to your resource manager, you of course will make sure that your project manager is in confidence that he or she is comfortable with giving you 2 or 3 weeks leave before even you go to your resource manager. But ultimately, you will have to go to your resource manager. He or she is responsible for sanctioning or not sanctioning you. I'm just giving you a small example for your vacation or your performance, ultimate appraisal, yearly appraisals and all this stuff. So he or she is your people's, like the HR manager. But at this project level, since this guy or lady is responsible for delivering the project in time and budget, so first you will have to go and make him or her comfortable and bring her in your confidence that, okay, I need 2 weeks vacation, and so vacation was just an example. So what I'm trying to say is, at the project level, you coordinate with project manager. However, at a higher level, your resource manager is your actual manager whom you report to. This manager, BA manager, can take you out of this project and put you in some other project. So then this guy will not have any say. Once you're out of this project, you will not be reporting to this, because of course now you've moved on to a different project. So that's where the hierarchy stands. But yes, at the project level, since this person is responsible for ultimately delivering it, so all the status about project, vacation, and all those logistic things, you will be dealing with, coordinating with the project manager, but not at a higher level. You will have your own resource manager, which is BA manager. So then we talk about SDLC, which is Software Development Lifecycle. Okay. So SDLC, irrespective of any project, we have to do analysis about what we are doing. So we have to be very clear about what we are doing. What is in scope, what is not in scope, why we are building this software solution, what are the business needs, talk to business, and that's where business analyst comes into the picture, because analysis is about the business, right? So the BA comes into the picture based on what is in scope. We as a business analyst set up meetings, chat sessions, requirement workshops, and whatnot, and we'll talk about it in detail, what are the various channels and ways you can contact your business needs and your team. But BAs take a lead, work hand in hand with project managers, and make sure that we understand the what part of it. What are we doing? Why we are doing? So what and why part of it. How will come in design and implementation. Okay. So we understand as a BA and a full team. We call our IT team, we call our business needs, subject matter expert, maybe business sponsor, and we understand what are the business needs. So this is the time when we do all the analysis of the what and why part of it. Okay. And then we have design phase in the project software development lifecycle. We're based on the requirements, the analysis work that we did, the solution architects, tech leads, they come up with the design document, the solution part of it. So we know that this TekTaurus Institute, they want to modernize or automate the counseling department, training department, and payroll, HR, everything they want to automate and want to go on to a cutting edge technology. Right now, few things are manual, few things are fusion, like mixture of automated and manual, and even whatever is automated, that is in a legacy system, meaning very old technology, it's a mainframe or COBOL, and they have to punch in. I'm just giving an example. So their systems were built many years ago, and they want to phase it out, and they want to retire the older systems and come to cutting edge technology. They want to use the latest and greatest technology available in the market. So then you will, under analysis phase, you understand their business needs if you were the BA. In design phase, then an architectural software basically is created. Architecture document is created, the blueprinting of the software. So the basics based on the requirements analysis that you as a BA did, the solution architects and tech leads, they will come up with the solution piece of it. So blueprinting, the basement, the foundation. Okay. So what kind of a technology, what platform, what kind of a databases, what kind of a servers, what is the hardware logistics that are needed to upgrade our software that we are building. So all those blueprinting, the basics of the software solutions will be created. Okay, so the design document will be created in conjunction with BA. So because BA was part of analysis, now you know what our business needs are. So you are a better person to contact as far as the business needs are concerned. And here we have the technical people who will be coming up with the solution piece of it. And once that basic groundwork is done, both at analysis level and design level, so now we know what business needs. Now we know what technology, what platform, what programming language. Let's say we're building it in Microsoft Silverlight or .NET, Java, and those are going to be the platforms and the operating systems and whatnot. So all that has been documented in the design. Then comes the implementation phase where the developers actually write the code. Okay, so they write the code to actually build that software based on these two deliverables that came out from previous phases. Out of analysis phase, what came out was a requirement document. business requirement, functional requirement, non-functional requirement, and we will talk, of course, in detail because that is your bread and butter as a business analyst. That's what you will be primarily delivering. The business requirements, functional requirements, non-functional requirements, integration requirements, and whatnot. So all these requirements. And from this phase came out a design document. So they have the high-level guidelines, as in what technology we are using, what platform we are using. And then implementation phase, the developers actually write the code and they build the actual software. Now we have the specifications, what our business needs and business wants. After thorough analysis has been performed by you as a business analyst, we have the design document. Based on these two deliverables, the actual software came out. So the application is built now. Now these guys come into the picture. Testing phase comes into the picture where everything is put in perspective. So based on the requirement document, the specifications of the software are here, the design and solution document is here, and the actual application, the software is here. Now these guys have to ensure in testing phase that all these deliverables talk to each other. The software is in sync with the specifications, the requirements, what are the specifications written, and they're in conjunction with the design document as well. So they comply, this piece, this deliverable comply with the rest of the two. Okay? And that's what the testing people will do. When they are doing QA testing, their responsibility is to make sure that this piece is in compliance with these two. Everything that was documented in specifications has been coded. Anything that was not in scope, it's very important that anything that was not in scope, we don't want to provide that feature, because one of the major reasons of project dooming down or failure of the project is scope creep. If we do not have control over the scope, we'll keep on building, take on the requirements, keep on building the software features, and that will become a never-ending story. And in that melee or in that chaos, the actual functionality that business asked for, that might get messed up and never got delivered, and because of the technical debt or whatever, we just got lost in undesired features that we were originally we were not supposed to provide because that was not in scope. So we have to make sure that whatever was in scope and whatever was documented in the specifications, that is being coded, that has been coded, and that is working correctly, fine, as per the specification. There are no error or exceptions being thrown by the software and all that stuff, and we will talk about that in detail. Plus, whatever was not in scope, that is not being delivered and that's not being coded. That's what testers do. Once the testing team is satisfied, everything that is documented here is working as per this design, these specifications and design, and there's no defect, no bug, application is working as per these specifications. Then we go to deployment phase, meaning, there are certain steps, like we have to perform UAT, which is nothing but user acceptance testing, where users actually do the testing. So user acceptance testing means, okay, we did our testing at our level, at IT level, and that includes not just QA, everybody will be doing testing within the IT team. So BAs will be part of testing, some level of testing. Developers, of course, will be doing their unit testing. So what they coded, they are the first people to test themselves even before it goes out. And of course, a independent third-party, unbiased set of eyes, they should test it. So they are the QA testers who test it. And once we are satisfied with an IT team, before even go live and deploying the solution, we have to make sure that we perform the user acceptance testing. So users themselves, those very users who were working closely with you as a BA, is people to test themselves. So they have to put their hands on the actual software that has been built, and they have to provide their blessing. Okay, this looks good. Okay, this is what we wanted. This is what else got broken while we were fixing. Because at the end of the day, the coder, the developer who went inside the code base, so there was a human intervention in the code. Someone went inside the code and they made a change. So it's quite possible that while fixing the code, some other functionality which was working earlier, that got broken up. So we will do complete testing here, and then we go to the users and say, okay, here it is. We have fixed the issues, and we have made sure that everything is working fine. Now you test it. So let's say on the second attempt or third attempt, the UAT passed. So once the UAT passed, meaning users have accepted the solution that we have built, and then we are good to go for go live. And that's when in the deployment phase, we would do all the planning work, meaning user training, setting up the environments, deploying the solution on the actual server machine, and then we go live on a decided date. Okay, so on, so let's say the UAT passed on today, 11th of April, and the business needs a couple of weeks or 3 weeks or whatever, unless there's a timeline that we have to go live by tomorrow or whatever. Then business users will, in conjunction with the project management team, we will come up with the go live date. And so usually it happens that deployment happens over the weekend or whatever, so that from coming next Monday or Friday, whatever the business type is, we can go live and they can start use. A pilot team uses usually the software first, and then if it is going normal and well, then rest of the business starts using as usual. Okay. So these are the major phases, irrespective of any project. And then once we have deployed this particular software solution, you go to the next project, same thing will happen. So it's a life cycle. Analysis, design, implementation, testing, deployment. Okay. Now, there are various methodologies in which these things can be executed. And we will talk about that in detail in the coming classes. It is quite possible that analysis phase, like here, we have a life cycle, so this has to take place first. And I said, once this is complete, only then design starts, and once design is complete, only then implementation starts. And when implementation is complete, only then testing starts. It's quite possible that it's a test-driven development, and testing happens after implementation, and whatever is working, that becomes our requirements. So there are various combinations and permutations in which this SDLC or these phases can be conducted, and the project can be executed in various ways. However, execution of the project. How they are done, in what order, in which order, and do we need to do them all, simultaneously or one by one? That we will discuss when we discuss the methodologies. So there's a waterfall methodology, agile methodology, RUP, and so there are various methodologies of executing a project or a software development life cycle, and that's where we will learn the difference between how these things can be done in different ways. That's a detailed discussion that we need to have. Okay. SDLC phases and BA role specifically. What do you do in each phase? Of course, in analysis phase, you take the lead, you talk to the business, along with the project manager, you understand what are the needs, what are the opportunities that business is trying to capture, and based on that, we document the results of our analysis. So this is what business needs, and this is what they want. So you elicit the requirements, you document them, use case, UML diagrams, and we have not even discussed what all these things are, so don't worry at this point. But these are your activities that you do. Yeah, and we will learn in detail about what these things are. So business analyst does all those things. In design phase, as I said, create software design, right? Solution architect, technical team comes up with the solution, right? The solution architect or the technical team comes up with the solution, the design document, high-level design document, with some input from BA, because BA by now understands what business needs are, what are their requirements. So you will have some contribution there. You can provide some kind of a support. Implementation, the actual code is written, the software is written. So the developer, with the help of BA, because again, now you as a BA know the business needs. You have documented them, that's all fine. But a good BA doesn't just, okay, I'm done. I have written a document, go and read the document. All the requirements are there. That's not a good BA. You have to sometimes handhold the developers, sit by them, next to them, and make sure that they understand the requirements well. Because remember, writing a good document is one thing, and ensuring that that information has been communicated is another thing. So your responsibility or your job is not just to document the requirements that came out of analysis. Your job also is to ensure that you impart that knowledge. You make sure that when the coder is writing the code, he understands the requirements very well, and he's going in the right direction, he or she. And similarly, in the testing, the testers, okay, so you have written the requirement document, but your role doesn't end there. Your job, your responsibility as a BA doesn't end there. You have to again make sure that even testers understand the requirements written in the document is communicated well. The business rules, business processes, business needs, they are understood well by all these downstream teams. Only then they will deliver the best solution. If they don't understand the requirements, anybody can write a code, any trained person can test the functionality. But we have to make sure as a BA, we interact with them, sit next to them, and if required, hand-holding, if required, silver spooning, if required, providing the meals on a silver platter, guide them through. Basically, I always say this. It doesn't matter how effective documents you have written, how smartly or how well written the documents are. Those documents, requirement documents or specifications, are of no use if these guys don't know what is written there. You can, as a BA, write the document, put it up there in the electronic library or SharePoint, or all those repositories are available. You can put up there the documents there. But a software engineer or a developer, he didn't bother to read those specifications, and he coded as per whatever his understanding was. And the tester also tested without consulting that. What is the use of that requirement document? No matter how effectively you worked with the business stakeholders, no matter how effectively you communicated that in those documents, but actual output, the software came out which is not in compliance with what the business wanted. The business doesn't care, how beautiful documents you wrote. Ultimately, what they got was crap. I mean, yeah, the product that they got is not as per their needs, so they're not going to be happy at all. And after that, we can do he said, she said, oh, I wrote the requirements well, or see, here's the document, here's the proof. Last 2 weeks of QA, but basically they will test the functionalities, test the requirements and specifications and applications to make sure that this deliverable is in conformance with these two, right? So BA will be of a major help to them, because BA is the one who understands the mind of business, what they wanted. You or Samiksha were the people who were involved right from the analysis phase, even maybe before that. So you understand the mind of business. What are their requirements? In what environments they're working? They would have told you that the current system, it's slow, it doesn't do this, it throws so many error messages, whatnot. So you understand what they're going through, and they want a user-friendly, sleek, efficient, fast system. So you will make sure that you work closely with QA, and they have covered all the testing scenarios which are possible. Yeah. And that is why we are doing this combo course, because as a BA, you will also be required to do some part of testing. Okay. And then finally comes the deployment, of course, after the UAT has passed, which is user acceptance testing. The users are happy, they give you your blessings, you have the green light from them, okay, looks good, everybody's happy, and we come to deploy the software. During that phase, if some user training needs to happen, that will take place. Any logistic things needs to take place, like, for this particular application that we're going to deploy, we need special types of upgraded systems or operating system or whatever is required, that those logistics will be taken care. BA will be, probably will be responsible for writing release notes. What that means is that, okay, with this new application, what are the features that are going to be automated? What this application provides the functionalities and features and all those stuff, and what are the known issues, what we are still working on. So all this information about this particular release, and we will learn all these documentation that we are talking about in detail. This is just to get you introduced to, at a very high level, various phases and your deliverables. Okay.
Lalit, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, does this always works, in a single flow, or it can go back and forth, like, before deployment, or maybe after that?
So deployment, what is back and forth you're talking about, Samiksha?
I'm just saying that is it that the requirement comes like only once, or maybe like it can go back and forth again and again. Like say after testing, it's yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good question. Now that obviously can happen, that business have genuinely there's a change in the way the business performs their business today, and the time that we discuss the requirements, and there's a genuine change in the way they do business today. Or there was a kind of a misunderstanding that business by mistake they gave some wrong information. They meant something else, but they said something else. Or there was a kind of a kind of a confusion, or BA misunderstood the requirements, they documented not in a the best way, and then it went along, and then the developers misunderstood, and the testers also misunderstood, and it got developed the wrong requirements basically. So basically, somehow what got developed was not as per the business needs. So it can happen that there's a change now. We have to change it, we have to make a change in the code, we have to make a change in the requirement document, we have to make a change in the test cases document because there's a change in the requirement. So how we handle those change is different in the methodology that we are executing the project. And as I said, there's a waterfall model, there's agile model, there's a RUP model. So when we learn about methodologies, we will definitely talk about how we manage these change. So change management in requirement, and it's not just the requirement document. BA can anytime go and change the requirement, but downstream everybody has to make a change, right? The design document needs to be changed, the code needs to be changed, the test case needs to be changed. So how we handle that change is different in the way we are executing the project. In a waterfall method, it's a different way of handling the change. In agile method, it's a different way of handling the change. So we will learn, and that is a very important topic that Samisha has brought up. That's a very important topic, and we will spend sufficient amount of time in discussing the various ways of how we handle and execute the project, and in each model how we make the how we handle the change. Okay, so it's a discussion in itself, but at a high level, just to answer your question, Samisha, at this point I would say that in waterfall it's a different method of change management. In agile it's a different way of change management, and we'll discuss in detail when we discuss those methodologies.
Okay.
But that's a very good point and very important task actually in any project, how we handle the change in the requirement. And that happens because business is, to err is human, right? So it's quite possible that business needs gave a wrong requirement, or not the wrong requirement, but not what they wanted, or there was some miscommunication, or they didn't articulate well, or business analysts didn't.
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes it gets changed over the business level. Like they wanted something else and now they want something else.
Yeah, that also happens. That can happen. That genuinely the business, because business is dynamic, so because there was some instructions from regulatory body, because every business is regulated by some body, some government body or some. So they brought in some changes. Now, all these domains and industries, usually healthcare, pharma, insurance, banking, finance, they are very highly regulated industries.
Yeah.
So today there's a certain act, certain rules, certain instructions from those regulatory bodies. Tomorrow they might change. Okay. So based on that, the way we conduct business today, that will change.
Yeah, because I just asked this question because when I worked in the pharmaceutical industry, so it's quite a critical thing because like the regulatory body over there is FDA. US FDA. So I mean, when they change it, it's like the entire project goes in a toss.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. Yeah, absolutely. You're correct, and that's similar to other industries too. Pharma is highly regulated domain and industry. So is healthcare. So is insurance here. So is banking industry, and to some level, education and media too. So we have to be compliant with all those regulations, which change time to time. You can't just simply ignore those communications that we receive, because initially they will send some crit letters. Those are crit means criticization letters. Then they send you some kind of penalties, and ultimately they might just cancel your licenses, and your shops might get shut down. So no business wants to mess up with those regulatory instructions, basically. So yeah, so all the softwares need to be compliant. We have to comply with all those regulatory instructions. So that's how these things get changed. The requirements get changed over the time. Okay. So that was your role in each phase. Then how does the project kick off? We keep talking about, okay, I'm working on a project, project is so busy, project keeps me busy, and project. How does it initiate? How does a project get conceptualized? What is the beginning point? Okay. So starting point, so the business presents a need or opportunity for a solution, meaning they're not saying that, okay, let's go and build an application, software application. That's not the call of the business. Business has a need, or they have an opportunity. So need means, let's say the current application is old and it's giving a lot of troubles, it's breaking down, it doesn't serve the purpose anymore, and we are losing business because of this, or we are not able to serve our customers efficiently as much as we want to do. So there's a need. We have to move on, and we have to have another new technology. Okay. Or as Samisha said, there is some kind of a changes in the regulations, and we have to be compliant. In healthcare, there's HIPAA compliance, this compliance, that compliance. In healthcare, it's very, very, very highly regulated domain where we have to comply with government instructions, and other industries too. Some changes came into the picture. The way we were doing business, we have to change it, and so we have to be compliant with that. Or so that encompasses the needs. Or there's an opportunity. So we are launching a new line of business. We are launching a new product, and there's an opportunity for us. If we build or we buy this software package, we will be able to deliver more client-based. So there's a need, there's an opportunity, and business thinks we need a solution. Not necessarily an application. A solution can be a process solution as well. So that will be decided by IT team. IT teams make the call. The business presents a need or an opportunity, and then a PM ideally is assigned to look into the matter. Okay, so business is saying something, we need to do something about it. Either do an in-house project. What that means is that we build from scratch, build the application or solution from scratch, or there's something available in the market, like commercial off the shelf. We can go in the market and we can purchase a license, and we can do customization as per our business needs, tailor-made it, and deploy a solution in our application. So that's another option. Commercial off the shelf, meaning like, there's so many software solutions available in the market where you can simply purchase it and buy the license and start using it out of the box, or customization after customization. So SAP, PeopleSoft, there's so many software solutions which are already available. So we don't need to reinvent the wheel and start from scratch and perform all this analysis and design and development, write the code from scratch. But we can buy it and then we can customize the solution. So that is decided by the PMO team, what's the way to go. After, of course, having some internal discussion on what are our technical capabilities, what are our resource capabilities. Then, so we know that, okay, there's something needs to be done. Some project needs to be undertaken. PM gets that initial core team, like PA, BA, QA developer, and they get it allocated from the respective resource managers. So this guy goes to BA manager, QA manager, and development manager and says, okay, I need a team based on whatever the decision came out that we are going to, let's say, build a in-house software solution. And so we are building a core team to begin with. BA assists the PM in creating the CBA, which is nothing but cost-benefit analysis, which is nothing but, these are going to be the potential costs. So the dollar amount is here on the left-hand side, for example. Potential cost of resources, infrastructure, all those hardware, time. So all those costs, the dollar amount, and next to them are the benefits. So as compared to the cost that we are going to, the dollar amount that the business is going to spend, here are the potential benefits that we are going to get. So even if, let's say for example, the dollar amount on this side, the cost side, is even $1 less than what are the potential benefits, it's a beneficial project, and so the business will approve that budget. Having said that, the idea and purpose is not to always have cost lesser than the benefits, and anybody can play with numbers and show that. But the idea is to have a comparative study, as in this is the cost and these are the potential benefits. Now, as a collective decision, business have to either approve that project, because in scenario like Samisha presented, pharma industry, if there's a compliant project, like compliant issue, it doesn't matter if cost is even more than the actual benefits. We have to comply with it, because if we do not comply with so and so date and we are not compliant with our regulatory bodies, then our shops will be shut. We can't afford that. So in that case, cost versus benefit, it doesn't matter. Maybe in benefits we can say, if our business is lost, we're going to lose that much of money. So that means, so we have to do a comparison. Basically, that's where it boils down to cost versus benefit analysis. And based on that, the business either approves that project or it goes nowhere. So if it didn't get approved, then project doesn't take off. But if the project is approved, the budget is allocated and it's approved, then high-level scope or vision document is created. So what that means is that it's very important that we clearly know and define upfront what is in scope in this project. Because you have to remember, a project has actually the dictionary definition of project is something which has a start date and has an end date, and we within these two dates we are delivering something substantial, and this endeavor is temporary. A project cannot be an ongoing process. It has to start at a particular date. It has to end at a particular date. If there's no end date, then it's not a project. It's an ongoing process. So there's a difference between a project and a process. An ongoing process can go on for years and years and years. But that's why we do things in project. It can be a home project. If it's a home project, if you have to paint your home, there has to be a start date, there has to be an end date, there has to be a budget allocated to it, there should be resources clearly dedicated and allocated to this project, and that's when it's a project. If not, if these primary basic things are not clearly defined up front, then it will not be considered as a project. It will be an ongoing process. And in that case, the dollar amount will, you will keep on, it will become a fence, and, it will become a furnace in time. So everything is important, right? So that's why we want to make sure that scope is clearly defined, high-level scope, as in what is in scope and what is out of the scope. And based on that scope, then BAs will come into the picture, and they will discuss while analyzing, in their analysis phase, while analyzing the business problems or business requirements, we will only analyze what is in scope. So that is your guideline for doing the analysis phase. Okay. If you do not have a scope clearly defined, then what are you going to analyze? Because business will keep on saying, oh, we want this automated, we want that automated. Oh, what about that? They want everything under the sun. So that is not going to happen. A BA would refer back to the scope document where high-level pointers are given, and from there you take one by one each module or functionality or feature, and then you break it down, discuss in detail what that means. This one-liner statement says, what does that mean? What lies beneath it? Okay. So that becomes your guideline or reference guide to what you're going to analyze. What is the scope of your analysis? And then BRD, which is business requirement document, and we will talk about this much in detail because that's what your primary bread and butter is. You create business requirement documents and in the requirement document. Project manager creates a project charter, project plan, which has time, budget, and resource estimates, gets it approved from project sponsors, and once we have the project in principle approved, we have the dollar amount approved. Those are again estimates. Okay. The project kickoff meeting happens, so everybody knows everybody now, and we know who's who's doing what, who are your developers, who are your QAs, BAs, project managers. Project kickoff meeting happens, and the SDLC life cycle, which is analysis, design, implementation, testing, deployment, starts. Okay, so then you will come into the picture, refer back to the scope document, take each and every in-scope items and decompose it, break it down, talk about it one by one, and document your analysis results as in what business needs are, what are their requirements. Okay, so that is how the project starts at a very high level, and then we will be taking a deep dive. We will be discussing in detail each and every aspect that we are talking about here. But what if you join a project? This was a case where you were part from the inception phase. When the business started thinking about, okay, we need to do something, we need some IT intervention, we need PMO intervention, which is project management office, we need some kind of help from the our IT friends. Okay, but if you join a project midway, so you were not part of inception phase, you were not part of all those scoping sessions and all that stuff. So how would you come up to the speed? Because you're going as a consultant and you are supposed to be, hit the ground running. Sometimes there's no time for you to have that kind of a warm up time. So let's say, for example, there was a BA in the inception phase and maybe half of the analysis phase as well. So, he or she was working on that project. Then, on one fine Saturday, he won a lottery. And he decided that I'm not going to work from Monday. So the project manager immediately hired a contractor, let's say, she hired Samiksha as a BA. So she comes on board from next month. Of course, same Monday she can't join, right? Because this Saturday only I won the lottery. So Sunday I said, okay, I'm going to get $100 million and I don't need this BA job, this job. I don't need. So Monday I went and I resigned. I'm just kidding. So let's say a new BA joins. First thing you will do is, of course, go over all the documentation that the previous BA and the project manager has done. Understand what is in scope, what is this point, and we want to reach to point B, so at least we have a starting point. We understand where we stand, and then we talk about, okay, what is a to-be process? So there must be some kind of applications running. They are doing business today, so definitely something is going on. So understand the as-is system, the application that are serving the purpose, no matter how inefficiently or how slow or how bad they are, but they are serving the purpose today. So understand those applications, how they're doing the business today. That will give you a wealth of knowledge going forward, how you want to phrase your questions. Okay, so I understand you're doing this today. Now tell me how you want to do it tomorrow. Okay, so it's very, very important for you to understand the as-is system and play around with those applications, either whatever has been built halfway where the BA left, or the existing applications. So there are test environment, sandbox environments, nightly snapshot environments of the same application that is being used in the production environment. So whatever the business users are using to do their day-to-day business, the same application, same version is available in a testing environment where you can play around, you can dump in any kind of garbage data, you can do whatever you want. It's not going to hurt, of course, the production. Of course, you will not touch the production application because you don't want to play around with the real data. But you can do whatever. You can play around with the test environment, also known as sandbox, some dummy environment basically. We'll learn about the environments in detail, how many environments are there and why they are there. But there's the same kind of features and functionalities available in dummy environment that the business users are using in production environment, and you can just play around and see, okay, if I punch in this data, this happens. Okay, if I enter this, I click on next, the screen comes in. So you play around with the navigation, you see what the end-to-end functionality is available today, and that will make you ready for asking questions. Okay, so from here, point A, where do we want to go? What do we want in the to-be features? What are the problems that you're facing today? How you are, like, what are the drawbacks of this current system, so that we take care that we don't build those, or we don't repeat those things, and we give you a better solution going forward. Okay, so that's how you will gain that knowledge from how they're doing it today and become at par with where they stand. Okay, so that was at a very high level basics of what you do as a BA. what is expected out of you. And of course, we have not discussed all the deliverables. We will be discussing in detail, and I promise, Samiksha, we will go over your question about change management because we have not yet touched it. That's a very important topic that we have to discuss, and we need that detailed discussion. And as and when that session comes in, and that's going to be the second session actually after this, where we discuss the waterfall and agile methodology, and we will be talking about that change in requirements in detail. It requires a detailed discussion. Okay. So other than that, is there any question so far? Anything that doesn't make sense out of what we discussed, or otherwise anything which is, you know,
what will you be coordinating most with in the team?
Who will you be coordinating most? The question is good, but I wish I had equally good answer. There's no specific one person. So let me explain this to you. In analysis phase, you will be working with the business subject matter experts and project manager hands in hand. So you guys take a lead, you and project manager, you set up meetings with the business stakeholders, and you will be dealing with them most of the time because you want to gain the knowledge. Tell me, talk to me, right? So you want to absorb everything that they have to tell, and in fact go 2 steps further and ask pertinent questions, ask negative scenario, positive scenario, what if we don't do this, what if we do like this, you know, so understanding their business logic, their business process flows and their workflows. So in this phase, you will be working closely with the business stakeholders. When it comes to design phase, you will be working with the solution architects and technical developers and tech leads. So you will be interacting with them most of the time. When it comes to implementation, you will be sitting with the developers because you want to make sure that he or she is developing as per the business needs. It's not happening that your beautifully written requirement documents it's sitting in the corner in the desk, but she's developing, writing the code, whatever her understanding is. So in development phase, implementation, development or implementation, whatever you want to call it. In this phase, you will be interacting and dealing with the developers mostly. But yes, of course, you will be in touch with PM, you will be in touch with others too. Whereas in testing phase, you will be seen mostly with QAs. So you'll be having those water cooler discussions, and you will be seen mostly with QAs for your coffee break because you will be interacting with these guys. You will be sitting along with them, making sure that they're doing the testing as per the specifications. All the specifications are covered in their test scenarios and test cases. There's no scenario which is left out from testing. And you yourself will be doing some level of testing as a BA. So you will be seen in that group mostly in testing phase. And then of course deployment, the entire team comes together because this end-to-end testing, all the dots are getting connected at this point. So the entire team, subject matter experts, solution architects, developers, testers, project management team, subject matter experts team, all come together, and now we are ready to make that final push and go. So you will be dealing with everybody depending on which phase we are in. Okay, a good point. So that shows how important you're going to be in the project team. You will be contacted by every person on the team.
Usually, which is the longest phase?
Longest phase.
Which one phase is usually the longest?
Good question again. So now that again depends on what methodology we have undertaken. If it is a waterfall methodology, okay, so let me, I keep saying that we will discuss in detail, but let me put the cat out of the bag. Waterfall methodology is nothing but, let me give you a high-level description. In waterfall methodology, analysis phase takes place up front. So all the requirements which are documented upfront in the form of a BRD, which is a business requirement document. So all the requirements upfront needs to be analyzed, documented, and duly approved by the business stakeholders. So once our business requirement document is complete and before the end of analysis phase, we need to deliver, hand off the duly signed off requirement document for the entire project. Complete scope, in-scope items are documented and signed off by the business users. Only then the design phase can start. Unless we as a business analyst have not provided all the requirements duly signed off, duly approved, and once those requirements are signed off, means no change can happen after that. Okay? So, in conventional waterfall methodology, waterfall world, more insistence is given on planning and analysis. So hence, analysis phase is like, let's say if we have 1-year project and start, just to keep the math simple, starting from 1st January 2014 and we have to deliver, 2015, and you have to deliver by 31st December 2015. It's a 1-year project, for example. And it's a waterfall method. We will spend, let's say, 2 or 3 months in analysis. During those 3 months, January to March, BAs will do all the analysis work for the entire project, come up with the requirement document, the specifications, have them document, have them approved, and once they are approved, they are locked. And going forward, design phase starts from April 1st, and that's, let's say, for example, a month or so. So we have done all the analysis work, we have all the requirements documented here in the form of BRD. Then design phase comes, they write the design technical specifications, and then implementation phase comes, and that is, let's say, 2 to 3 months. Okay, so all the code is written. And so by the time we are in September or August, September, whatever, so the code is written, and then testing comes. Testing needs further more time because we need to make sure that everything is working as per the specifications. So 2 to 3 months will be testing phase. So by the time we are in November, we should be done by our testing. And then finally in the month of December, we can do deployment and all our post-development activities. So 3 months, a month, couple of months, 3 or 4 months, a month. Okay, depending on the methodology.
Like all the analysis, design, and implement, they seem to go a lot of back and forth in that.
Yeah, because in testing, let's say for example, if we found some defect, now someone has to diagnose whether actually the code was bad, like the code was not written correctly, or there was some confusion in the requirement. Maybe the requirement was not correct, okay, and that's why it is not implemented correctly. So that back and forth will happen between the BAs, developers, and testers. Yeah, a lot of back and forth happens. And we will discuss in detail when we do our mini project in the classroom. Okay? And how we manage those defects, all that stuff is there, and we have to take care of that. Any other questions so far? You good? Not just what these bunch of slides that we went over. Anything out of this? Any question?
I don't have a question, but I have a concern.
Yeah.
I assume you are using a whiteboard or any kind of other instrument for explaining?
No. That's
right
why,
now.
because sometimes we have just the online people who are online. So I make sure that I'm using the whiteboard in the classroom.
Okay.
Or whatever you see on the screen.
Okay, but going forward, you'll be using Visio for, I mean, like, if you have to draw anything or anything.
Yeah, Visio.
Like,
yeah, even if you use Visio, I will be sharing my screen, so you will see, and that's one session, and you will be given a copy. You will be given a software. You can download that on your computer, and it will be for you to use, I think, forever, or if there's no license, like there's no time frame, but you will be given the copy of Visio, and you can use on your own computer.
Okay. No, my only concern is if you're doing anything in the class there, and if I'm not able to see it, so I mean, will there be any?
No, that's what I'm saying. That this training is designed for both for in-class and online. So I will not be doing anything which you will be missing. Everything will be on my screen, and I will be sharing my screen with you. So you will be on the same page. I will not be doing something which is going on in the classroom that you can't see.
Okay.
Okay. So what I'll do is I will not download more for the first day. You know, I would like to keep it simple for today so that we don't lose the track and I don't overload you. So I will keep rest of the time for if there are any questions or any concern, any doubts that I can clear from what we discussed, or anything out of this also, any concerns or questions I would like to address, and I will not go further or give you any download. Okay?
And tomorrow we'll be starting at 10, I mean, EST.
Yeah, you will get an email.
Okay,
yeah, you will get an email whatever time they set up. So that time we will do it. Okay?
Yeah.
So, okay, so if I'm here, if you have any questions, I can address them. If not, but we can call it a day today. Okay? Is there any question I can address? Sure, no problem. Take your time. Samisha, do you have any question in the meantime?
No.
Okay.
I just had this concern because I thought so in between you're using a whiteboard or something else to explain.
No,
I was not able to see.
No, I'll make sure that you don't miss out on anything.
Okay. Thank you.
Cool. Okay then, we'll call it a day, and you will receive an email. So what time is the next class? Is it going to be tomorrow? You will get an email from I don't set up. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Cool.
Okay.
So thank you. Bye bye.